Hello everyone. Today I want to share a powerful motivational story with you. It's about how our thoughts shape our future and how a small change in mindset can transform someone's life forever. So stay with me until the end, because this story may just change the way you see yourself. In the bustling railway station of a small town, a man sat on the cold concrete floor, his tattered clothes and weary eyes telling a story of hardship and struggle. This man, known to locals simply as the beggar, had spent years surviving on the kindness of strangers, his outstretched hand a constant plea for spare change. Day after day, he watched as people rushed by, their lives a blur of purpose and direction. He wondered what it would be like to have such certainty, to know where one was going and why. But for him, each day was a battle to survive, each coin a small victory in an endless war against hunger and despair. One crisp autumn morning, as the station hummed with its usual activity, the beggar spotted a well-dressed businessman striding confidently through the crowd. His polished shoes clicked against the floor, and his tailored suit spoke of success and prosperity. The beggar's eyes lit up with hope. Surely this man of means would spare a few coins? Mustering his courage, the beggar approached the businessman, his hand extended in silent supplication. But instead of reaching for his wallet, the businessman paused, his piercing gaze meeting the beggar's expectant eyes. What happened next would change the course of the beggar's life forever. "Tell me," the businessman said, his voice calm and measured. "Do you ever give anything, or do you only take?" The question hung in the air, heavy with meaning. The beggar, caught off guard, stammered and stuttered, unable to form a coherent response. He had never considered such a thing before. Give? What could he possibly have to give? Seeing the confusion on the beggar's face, the businessman continued, his words carrying the weight of hard-earned wisdom. "You see, my friend, success in this world comes from exchange, not just taking. When we give value to others, we create a cycle of abundance that lifts us all." The beggar stood there, his mind reeling from this simple yet profound truth. For the first time in years, he felt a spark of something long forgotten, hope. Could it be that his life of poverty and dependence was not a sentence, but a choice? As the businessman walked away, disappearing into the crowd, the beggar sank back to his spot on the floor. But this time, instead of scanning the faces of passers-by for potential donors, he looked inward, searching for something, anything, he could offer in return for the kindness he sought. Hours passed, and as the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the station floor, an idea struck him. Just beyond the station's walls, in a small patch of neglected land, wildflowers grew in abundance. Beautiful, delicate blooms that most people overlooked in their rush to catch their trains. The next morning, with trembling hands and a heart full of uncertainty, the beggar gathered a small bouquet of these flowers. He positioned himself at his usual spot, but instead of an empty hand, he now held out the colorful blossoms to those who passed by. At first, people were surprised, even suspicious. But as they saw the genuine smile on the beggar's face and the beauty of the simple gift he offered, something magical began to happen. Coins dropped into his cup more frequently and in larger amounts. People paused to chat, to admire the flowers, to share a moment of connection in the midst of their busy days. Day by day, the beggar's confidence grew. He was no longer just a taker, but a giver as well. He began to take pride in selecting the most beautiful blooms, in arranging them just so. He learned the names of the flowers and shared this knowledge with those who showed interest. Weeks turned into months, and the beggar's small flower operation began to flourish. He invested in simple vases and expanded his offerings. Regular commuters began to look forward to seeing him, some even placing orders for bouquets to take home to their loved ones. As his business grew, so did his sense of self-worth. He no longer thought of himself as a beggar, but as a trader, a businessman in his own right. He saved money, improved his appearance, and began to dream of a future he had never before dared to imagine. 6 months after that fateful encounter, as he stood proudly behind his small flower stand, now a permanent fixture at the station, he spotted a familiar face in the crowd. The businessman who had changed his life with a single question was walking by, briefcase in hand. Their eyes met, and recognition flashed between them. The businessman paused, a smile of genuine pleasure spreading across his face as he took in the transformation before him. "I see you took my advice to heart," he said, admiring the colorful display of flowers. The former beggar, now a successful small business owner, nodded gratefully. "Your words changed everything for me," he replied. "I realize that we only receive when we give. It's not just about the flowers. It's about believing in myself and offering value to others." The businessman clasped his shoulder warmly. "You've learned the most important lesson in life and business," he said. "Our thoughts shape our reality. When we believe in our ability to contribute, to create value, we open doors we never knew existed." As the businessman walked away, the flower seller turned back to his stand, greeting the next customer with a smile that radiated confidence and joy. He knew now that greatness starts with thoughts, that what we think shapes who we become. His journey from beggar to businessman had been more than a change in circumstances. It was a transformation of mind and spirit. He had discovered the power of giving, the strength that comes from believing in oneself, and the incredible potential that lies within each of us when we dare to think big. As he wrapped a bouquet for a young man buying flowers for his sweetheart, he marveled at how far he had come. From a life of taking to a life of giving, from despair to hope, from survival to thriving. All because he had been willing to change his thoughts, to see himself not as a victim of circumstance, but as the author of his own story. The railway station, once a place of desperation, had become the stage for his personal revolution. And as trains came and went, carrying people to distant destinations, he stood rooted in his newfound purpose, a living testament to the power of thinking big and the transformative magic of giving. His story, whispered among the commuters and shared in moments of inspiration, became a beacon of hope for others struggling to find their way. It reminded all who heard it that no matter where we start, with the right mindset and a willingness to give of ourselves, we can rewrite our stories and achieve greatness beyond our wildest dreams. Life is shaped by the way we see ourselves. If you believe you're small, you'll stay small. But if you believe in your potential, you'll achieve greatness. So don't limit yourself. Change your thoughts and you'll change your future. If you like this story, give it a thumbs up. Comment below what lesson you learned and subscribe to our channel Next Move in Life for more inspiring stories. Thank you for watching. Stay motivated, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next story.